What's going on, everyone? It is Jack from the Breakevens, and I am bringing you my February team reveal. My team has changed a lot since January, as we now know some clarification with rookies and player positions and their spots in their teams. Um, Before we get into my team, let's go through the socials. You can find us on Twitter at BreakevensPod and on YouTube at the Breakevens. We are trying to hit 50 subscribers on YouTube, and we're at 44 at the moment. So let's get the last six. So let's get the last six to get to 50, so we can aim for 100 by the season's end. And don't forget, it takes 2 seconds, and it's for free. So why not? Um, Now that's out the way. Let's get into my side. All right, getting into my team in my D1 position. It has changed a little because he was in my D2, but now he is in my D1, and that is Tom Stewart. Mr. Reliable, averages, I believe Corey said in his team review, 120 to 125 at the MCG, and he has a lot of games there early on, which is great to see, but we know with Tom Stewart, his intercept marking ability and his ball use is at the elite level, and that's why we see him with big averages. My second defensive pick is a risky one and a strange one, and that is Caleb Daniel at 495.2k, an average of 89.9 last year, 18 games, 2% ownership. The Bulldogs, through their intra-clubs, they have been playing him a lot in the middle, so this is why I have put him in as my D2 at 495k. He's a cheap mid-price, he's a mid-pricer. And in the midfield, he's got the best ball use in the competition, in my opinion. Definitely the best at the Western Bulldogs. Great kick, gets lots of the ball. So I think in the midfield, getting those inside 50s and could possibly damage the scoreboard as well. I think it's a very interesting pod mid pricer pick. That's why I've selected him. No one Most people in this team are not safe. I'll be looking through the preseason games to see how they perform in these positions. But I'm selecting them as pod type choices to try and enhance my spot. In D3, I've got the Hawksman Will Day. 17 matches in 2022, which is a good season for him. He gets injuries a lot. He's got 4% ownership, an average of 65.8 last year. He, like Daniel, has been playing in the midfield, so at 362k, him playing as an inside mid, it's enticing to see what he can do. So I've chucked him in now. Like I said, he might not stay, but see how he goes in the preseason games. If he can push that up to 95, 100, he's making money, but he could also sit at a D6 position, depending on how well he plays. So Will Day is my D3. My D4 is Elliot Yeo, a very risky pick as 5 games played last season, injury prone, but especially the last few seasons. But that 45% ownership for me doesn't make it feel as big of a risk as it is, because everyone's jumping on him. So if he goes down early at the start of the year, everyone will be trading him out, or at least half the group will. Half of the Supercoach people will. And if he goes off at the start and he's scoring 100 to 110 for fun, where he rewarded for it, and the 55% that did not select him are a trade behind, I guess you can say, from us who have selected him. So it's a risk and reward pick with Elliot Yeo, but it's not as much of a risk as a lot of people are jumping on him. My D5 is another mid-pricer in Jack Bowes for Geelong. We've seen what he can do in the midfield and off the halfback for Gold Coast without being injured. and at Geelong with a better team around him, I can just see he's scoring enhanced. Is he best 22? I believe so. I believe he will play. I believe he will play midfield and on the half back. So it's an exciting player to look out for, who will definitely make us some coin. My D6 is Gimbry from Gimby from West Coast. 47% have jumped on him, and he's been very exciting in the West Coast intra-club game. So I can't wait to watch him in pre-season, see how he goes. But he's most likely going to play round one, which is good for us. My first bench defender is little man Weedle. Oh, I spelled his name wrong as well. From Hawthorn, he's someone who has been impressing at Hawthorn, looking like a round one starter, and with 28% ownership as well. A lot of super coaches are jumping on him, and at his price, it is a very big grab. My last defender is Lockie Cowan from Carlton. With Zach Williams' ACL injury, there's a spot open in that halfback flank, and he looks like the one who will take it. He's been impressing in the intra-club down at Icon Park, and he looks set to play that round one against the Tigers, so don't worry about his round one score, because it's going to be low because they're playing the best team in the comp. But you know, he's definitely a rookie to jump on, especially in that defence. Moving over to my midfield, my M1 is the must-have midfield primo in the comp, and that is this ginger man over here, Clayton Oliver. What can I say? Mr. Consistent, fantastic footballer, fantastic Supercoach scorer, and with 45% ownership, that says something when you got players like Rory Laird and Lockie Neal either side of him. I can see him taking his game. Like, I can't see him decreasing. If anything, he will get better. And as you can see, a 0.7 average changes 4.1k, which is a bit crazy in my opinion. So I think Rory Laird's way too overpriced. He's someone to get when he drops down in price. Not to start, because that 4.1k can go anywhere else in the team. But yeah, no, Clayton Oliver, the redhead dragon of Orange, is just going to kill it again this year. My M2 is the man Mountain Pinocchio himself, Marcus Bonton Smelly. He's been training midfield and half forward alongside the man just below him in Jack McRae for this season, which is a good sign for Bond, because we could be able to get him with a forward DPP again, which for us who already have him, it's fantastic, because he's going to at least get that 116.1 average, if not more. But when that DPP comes, we can instantly sub him to the forward line and enhance our midfield even more. For me, he's just a great pickup, very consistent, very good ball user like Caleb Daniel, gets a lot of inside 50s and hits the scoreboard, which helps his scoring a lot. But yeah, no, Marcus Bontempelli, he's going to go big again. My M3 is the Robert Downey Jr. of the AFL, Jack Steele, aka Iron Man. Yeah, he's very underpriced. Be interesting to see how he plays in the preseason games with Ross Lyon, but at 604k, we know this man can score 100, average 120 plus, and have those 140 to 180 scores that we can use as a vice captain option. At that price, I feel like he is a must-have, because he's definitely going to make money, not lose money, and he's going to play a lot better than he did last season through his injuries, as we saw he missed 4 games. My moving on to my M4 is Tom Green at 534.6k, 97.1 average, played 21 games, 19% ownership. I'm quite surprised it's only 19%. He is the best option of that 500k lot. But I will be keeping an eye on Tom Mitchell from the Collingwood Football Club. See how they both go in the preseason games, because I could easily change Green to Mitchell if there's a scoring difference in Mitchell's favour by a fair bit, 10 odd points. But I think Tom Green's going to break out again this year with Taranto and Hopper gone. It's just giving him more CBAs and more time to bully people like he does. So yeah, I've got Tom Green. My next pick is man I was just talking about, Jacob Hopper. 332k, 47% ownership. He has Neil Barmer's come out and said that him and Taranto will be playing full-time mid, so we don't need to worry about his positions. At the Giants, we saw him rest in the forward line. Same with Taranto, which hindered their scoring. And Richmond has taken a safe approach with his pre-season, with having 2 big sessions a week and then running for the rest, just to get his body in tip-top shape for the pre-season games and round 1. With the preseason games, I can't see him going out and playing like he would round 1. They're going to slowly ease him into it with the first game and second game. He'll probably jump a bit more in his time on ground, but don't take that to account as much with Hopper, as Richmond are easing him into the season with the injuries he has had in the past. But yet, for me, Jacob Hopper is the mid-price midfield choice. I think he's much better than Dom Sheed and will be a more consistent scorer. My M6 is Mr. Finn Callahan, if I can spell his name right. With Taranto and Hopper going, like I've said, the last 2 picks, I can see a spot in the midfield opening up for him. At 244k, I believe it's like an 80-85 average to make 150k, which he can definitely do. He's shown last season in the 5 games he played what ability he does have, and he was played out of position as well, but when he was on the ball, he showed what he can do. He showed his kicking ability, he showed his awareness, showed everything that excites us, excites Giants fans, but us super coaches as well. At 244k, I think he's a great pickup, only being, I believe it's 42k more expensive than last year. Might be 48, but I know he was on that expensive side of the rookie list last year. So only having that much of a jump, and with a more enhanced role this year, his scoring is just going to go through the roof. So he's definitely one I am starting. Watch out for him if you're worried about him, selecting him at 244k, thinking you can go a Windhager or a Flanders instead. Look for the preseason games, how he goes, his role, Windhager's role, Flanders' role, because they're all good options. But I'm picking Callahan. I think he's got the best option. I think he's got the best chance to enhance his scoring at a bigger level than the other 2. They obviously can go nuts as well, do not get me wrong, but Callahan, with the 2 spots opening up, I think he slides in and he shows the football world what he is capable of. Moving to my M7, it is the must-have rookie like Nick Dacos was last year, and that's Will Ashcroft. 69% ownership just says it all. So if he's a Jason Horne-Francis and a disappointment of a rookie selection at that high like last year, Again, 69% ownership. So if he doesn't go as big as we expect, it's not that much of a risk, as 70% of the community have him in. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a disappointment and average at 60s. I think he can average 80s. But there's always that possibility that someone it comes in like Jason Horn-Francis last year, averaged 66, and he was touted as the best pick by far, and he didn't really show that with his scoring output. So yeah, so it's definitely possible. I think Ashcroft comes in and kills it like Nick Dacos did, but he is the must-have rookie, and 70% ownership practically also speaks volumes. My M8 from the North Melbourne Football Club is Will Phillips, and again, 52% ownership is saying a lot about this man. He is playing midfield. He's been playing in the midfield group at North Melbourne, and he has been impressing in that role. I think, like Ashcroft, he's a must-have in the midfield for rookies. Not much I can really say apart from that with Will Phillips. Just lock him in. Don't think about not selecting him because he's a must-have. Moving on to my bench, my number one bench option is Matthew Johnson at 123.9k. Was touted to play round one last year before an ankle injury kept him out for a while. So a fit and healthy preseason this year. I think he's touted for a round one start. Just have a look pre-season games how he performs, but he's training the lights out up in Freo like he did last year, and we are expecting again another big year from Matty Johnson. My next pick is Charlie Constable. 123.9k defensive mid. I've got him in my midfield here. I can obviously switch him and Gimby if Phillips or an Ashcroft or someone gets injured and we need the coverage, which is great. But he's playing off the halfback. He looks set for a round one, set for a role in round one, and he's been playing very well off it. We know Charlie Constable, when he was at Geelong in his rookie year, was averaging like 75, 80, but he was just in and out of the team a lot. It looks like he's got a role at the Gold Coast that he's able and a consistent role for him to perform on a consistent basis. So that's why I chucked in Charlie Constable here. I'm gonna look out with pre-season because there is another man that I do not have in Elijah Hewitt for West Coast who's been impressing as well. I'll be looking at the scores that they have and seeing who to go with, because if Constable comes out and sucks, there's more of a risk of him missing round one. But if he comes out and dominates, he's practically set for round one. So there is a little question mark around Constable, but he does look set to play round one. And my last midfield option, obviously I said it's not Elijah Hewitt, so who is it? It is Oscar Baker from the Western Bulldogs. Playing on the wing in the Bulldogs, it looks like that role is his, and he will be in round one. He has been killing it for the Dogs. Like Oliver, the big red hair, just fire. I've chucked him in. He looks like he's going to make a lot of dosh for us. Moving on to my rucks. There's a lot of people going with a Wits or an English, as you can see here, 13 and 22% ownership, but I am going cheaper with my R1, and I'm going with Brodie Grundy, 512.9k. The D's brought him down from the Pies for a reason. I think he takes the number one ruck. If it's a 60-40 split with Gawn, which I think is most likely in his favour, that's going to help a lot, and especially with Max Gawn being training in the defence, and it just looks more likely that Grundy is going to be the R1. And at 512.9k, he is the Jack Steele of the Rucks at 512k. I think it's a must-have. He averaged 103.5 in his 6 matches last year before having that serious injury. I just think he's a steal of a pick, and he's going to be a top 3 ruck easily by season's end. If my prediction is right with that 60-40 split, he will definitely average that 110 range again. My R2, it seems like everyone is jumping on 43% ownership. Rowan Marshall, someone also who I think is underpriced. He almost played a full season last year for like the first time. With Paddy Ryder gone, Tom Campbell injured, there is no one that's going to take that R1 spot away from him to start the season, but I don't think anyone will take that R1 spot from him. And with that, his average can easily jump to 105, 110. He knows how to kick goals. He knows how to get the ball around the ground, and he knows how to intercept mark and win some tap outs. I think he is a great pick, and I think it proves my point with 43% ownership next to his name. My one bench option is Madden 24 Nicholas Madden, 102.4k. Injured for at least half the season, like I said a podcast or two ago. This is a pure loophole option. That ruck forward status helps a lot as well. But Giants have a lot of Sunday games, so he's a very good loophole option, and he's at the bare minimum price. So I think it's a great loophole pick there, and I love a loophole pick, so that's why I've gone with Madden. Moving to my forward line, and to start it off, we have Joshua Dunkley. 63% ownership says it all. Number 1 forward scoring player again. Fagan has come out and said that he'll be starting in the midfield for the Doggies in round 1 with Lachie Neale, so I think that just locks him even more. Great player. Probably will still have his forward role as well, but Josh Dunkley's going to do what Josh Dunkley does and have that average again, if not higher. My F2 is Connor Rozee. 22 games, which is a fantastic sight, and time in the midfield. I can see a more consistent year for Rozee this year, another year under the belt, another pre-season under his belt so far. That just the extra season, the extra pre-season just would build more confidence in his body and will help his ability to get even better than what it already is, because he's already a great player. But yeah, I feel like a more consistent year for Rozee is coming, and he'll get over that 100 average. I'm starting with him because he's shown he can have huge scores of 160, 180. And I can't see them more consistently, but I can see more hundreds consistently, and if not 90s. I feel like this is the year Connor Rozee goes from scoring big and scoring low to scoring big and scoring big more. He's going to be more consistent. He's going to be more of an eye watch, and at 513k, I think he's a bit cheaper than what he's going to produce, so that's why I have chucked him in. My F3 is the man underneath him, Tim Taranto. Like I said with Jacob Hopper, guaranteed main midfielder, majority midfield minutes. Like Hopper, he's a bull, but unlike Hopper, he does have the ability to fumble a kick or scrawn. That's not scrawn, or stuff up a kick. But that fits the Richmond style, so I can't see someone taking more points off him for effective disposals. So Timmy Taranto, majority midfield, more CBAs, more clearances, more inside 50s, and those he fits the Richmond style, which is just chaos football, which us Tigers fans love to watch. I don't think many other fans like to watch it as it's a scrappy game, but we love it. And he fits that mold perfectly. I can see he scored jumping into those hundreds, and with 49% ownership, I think it's saying that a lot of people expect him to explode this year as well. Heading into my F4, I have gone with Jack Zeeble, 356.4k. We've practically been told he's got that same halfback flank role that he had 2 years ago, which showed him average over 100. He's definitely going to get DPP status, so depending on how well he plays this year, he could be a D6 or an F6, which is exciting. We know for sure he's going to at least be scoring 90s. 95, I reckon, is the lowest he will average, which is which is around that 150k moneymaker, which pushes him up to 500k. So if he's not as well as we are expecting, he's made the money to upgrade to a big boy. But even with that, he has the ability to be a D6 or F6. Not quite sure on how he's looking with the kickouts. I've seen that he's been sharing them with Luke McDonald. I don't know what the split is. But those kick-ins, we know he loves to play on from them and get extra super coach points, which is why I think makes Jack Zeeble even more exciting than just that halfback flank roll back. So that's why I'm chucking him in. But I am watching him in preseason, because if he's dropping 80s, not doing too well, he's definitely not going to stay. And I can definitely chuck a Flanders or a Windhager into my forward line over him and have extra cash spare. But going into that, my F5 is Toby McLean. Oh, I can't spell again. In my opinion, the must-have forward rookie, 54% ownership. He has been training in the midfield and half forward for the Doggies, which is just going to help his scoring at 178k. He can easily be averaging around that 80 mark, 75 to 80 mark for sure, but he could also go higher. We just got to hope he stays healthy, but he's most definitely going to make money, and in my opinion, the most money out of any forward, mid-price or rookie. So he is a must-have in my opinion, and that also helps with the 54% ownership. Back me up. My F6 is my man Johnny Sins from the Port Adelaide Football Club. Now, people have been worried about his injury concerns with the surgery he had after last season, but he is fine. Like Richmond with Hopper, Port Adelaide have been taking a safer approach with his pre-season, more running, less full-time training. I think he's on a similar program where he does 1 or 2 main sessions and then the rest he's running. As long as he stays fit, he's got a role in the Port Adelaide team, and it is on the wing. So I think he's a must-have, just hoping he can stay fit and not get injured. So yeah, my boy Johnny Sins is at F6. My F7 is a father-son, and it goes by the name of Owen Davey. If he plays round 1, I'm not too sure yet, but I've heard he's exciting and he's been performing very well in the intra-club games, kicking a goal or two to go with it as well. So I'm chucking him in 117k. He's been very exciting. So if he can get that round 1 game, he's got a lot of money to make. He can definitely average around that 70 mark, which is what we look for in a rookie, especially at that price. That's a lot of money to be made. So that is why I've chucked in Owen Davey. I'll have to check if he's playing round 1, because if not, I'll most likely be going a man from Melbourne by the name of Jacob Van Rooyen, who looks set to play round one with the injuries at Melbourne as a key forward. Probably not as much money to make as Davey, but he's got that job security for the first few rounds, which is enticing. But he's also been, like Davey, killing it in the intra clubs. But my final forward pick is, I'm going to say this wrong, but Blake Drury for the Kangas, 102.4k, absolutely killing it in the North Melbourne intra-club games. Looks like he's most likely going to have a game in round one. Alistair Clarkson is a big fan of what he's producing in the intra-club games, and he looks to be one pushing for a round one spot, which I think he can definitely get. And with 35% ownership, a lot of people are jumping on him as well, which is a very good sign to back me up. But yeah, I think Drury plays round one, and he can definitely have a very strong season for North Melbourne, especially at 102k rookie. If he averages that 70, like I said with Davey, he makes more money off it because he's at the cheapest price you can get, which is amazing. So yeah, I've gone with Blake Drury. I do have 103.7k left over. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I don't know if as I obviously can go a Grundy to a Wits or an English. I don't know if I do that or I just hold for now. The big thing I like about having this much left for now is I've got people like Will Day who when I'm not sure on how they're going to perform, in Caleb Daniel, and for example, if I take Daniel out, I've got 598k to play with at defender, which I'm looking at a few options in Redman, Young, Ridley, and Dacos. If Daniel doesn't play well, doesn't play to what I'm expecting, who all have, Ridley, they all have more ownership than him. Ridley has the same with that 2%, but yeah, I'll be watching out for that for sure. So that's why I have so much remaining salary. It is more of a wait and see what happens in this preseason games and see what I have the money to be able to make changes if I need to. That's going to do me for today. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or any suggestions for my team, leave them in the YouTube comments below or hit us up on Twitter at Breakevens Pod. I'm very willing to hear what you have to say about my team with some selection options, what you think, and if there's any more clarification you need in why I selected them, be sure to get back to you. Just let us know. Don't forget about our Breakevens Unlimited group. We have around 94 people in, 6 away from our target of 100. So tell everyone to jump in. Get your mum, get your dad, get your sister, get your nan, get your pop, get your uncle, get your auntie, get your little sister, get your little brother, get anyone and everyone in and get them to join this Super Coach group. The code is 432856. So please make sure to let everyone know to jump in so we can get that 100 people in, but we can even do better because I believe in you guys. We can do a lot better than that. We can enhance our goals, make them bigger and better. And don't forget to hit us up on our socials, whether it's any Supercoach questions or any extra information you want to know why me or Corey picked plays in our teams. That is at Breakevens Pod on Twitter and on YouTube, the Breakevens. Again, thank you all for watching and listening, and until next time, it's time for now. Bye.